Hey guys, some gamer dude here. This past weekend, Spin Master held an event for the second season of Bakugan Armored Alliance. We had seen leaks from the factories of the toys, which led to a lot of speculation. This event did not have the effect intended, quite the reverse. Instead of hype, it caused more frustrations. Much of this comes from the position Bakugan is in, especially internationally. Distribution is an absolute mess, to put it lightly, both the toys and the cards. What countries have what is a constant matter of discussion in regards to both the toys and the TCG, with the third TCG set, Age of Aurelus, basically going unreleased. There are toys that fall into this same limbo too. Important Bakugan in the show don't and won't have toys. The TCG is regularly being clearanced out. The boosters have extreme randomization and drop rate issues, along with probable short printing. Still waiting on that LGS support. I'm not even going to touch Ventus Knight. With the leaks from the factory, we had a good idea that the aesthetic for the Bakugan toys was changing significantly and that we were getting weapons for the Bakugan. This was proved correct when a leak for the Bakugears cards showed this was the case. I don't know where to start with the event because nearly everything went wrong. Still nothing concrete for LGS. Just more vague promises. They say the randomization has been fixed and it'll totally be better now. Yet boosters opened by Bakugan Masters at the event showcased the exact same issues with the prior 3 sets. The same cards in the same order, multiple times over. I'm inclined to believe it's deliberate now. The card collections now come with a flimsy cardboard deck box instead of Baku cores. The card collections prior actually being a good source of quality cores. Had the deck boxes been the thin plastic kind Bushiroad uses as promotional giveaways, this would have been a sideways change rather than a downgrade. Returning Bakugan have no identifiers, not an icon or a letter, to differentiate themselves from the older versions. Thusly, mixing and matching got questioned a lot, despite this not being allowed. It just looks like it can. Same goes for the Evos, as they use the same naming conventions and are still relying on images rather than text. It seems so simple and like a total non-brainer to add a new icon at the end of each Bakugan's name, each new block, to not encounter this issue. It's common sense. Beyblade did this in its original era with just a letter to indicate a new form. Just to clarify, your Bakugan character card must be the one it came with, and Evos must show the original form. Dragonoid AA just seems a lot simpler to me, unneeding of clarification. The TCGs and the toys are now 2 different lines. Bakugan Pro now being the line of the cards, with the toys simply being Bakugan. The cards can also come without blisters now, as the game already had issues with being divorced from the toys due to how things are packaged and released. This just makes the divorce final. This is probably the thing that gives me the most concern. The toys are popular with children, very much so. Cards? Not at all. They just sit there, even on clearance. Kids into the toys simply aren't into the cards. That's the realm of older people who find the concept novel and the game fun. This isn't helping things, and neither are the pack and cards. They aren't getting the attention of kids. This move to Bakugan Pro just gives up on the kids, the primary demographic. Nothing in the new toys seems to be actively promoting Pro either. So the TCG now falls to the people who are increasingly disgruntled, disenfranchised, and disillusioned, who are quite frankly sick of Spin Master's crap and aren't that populous to begin with. The toys now include a gate card, but unlike the original game, it doesn't do anything. It's just to practice on. 2 Baku cores have roughly the same surface space, and these gate cards can't be used with Ultra's stand gimmick, so I don't get the point of this. It had potential with the core Bakugan, if it had actually been implemented as something rather than nothing. I'm going to be really frank. I think Spin Master's Bakugan is a contender with Force of Will to be one of the most mismanaged games of the 2010s. I feel like I've backed a loser here, and like Force of Will, it does have a ton of appeal, which makes things worse. I am of 2 minds on this. Like most people who do focus testing, Spin Master believes children are of little to no intelligence. This is not the case. the age argument is wrong. Kids play modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Is arguably the most complex of the big three and a magnitude of times more complex than Bakugan. Spin Master puts absolutely no effort into promoting the TCG to kids. A pack-in card is not promotion when that starter is double the retail of other games and frankly hard to justify to try something. While the boosters need to be fixed, starting with a standard 3 uncommons, they should be throwing commons at kids to help them build budget decks to get interested. It's been suggested by Hunter Surge and it's absolutely correct. They could totally afford to fold the starter decks and the starter packs into one product. You just need to make a pool of generic commons, which is getting easier by the set. Cards are largely cheap to produce once you have that initial work done and are probably much cheaper than producing those gate cards. There is an argument with multi-language cards against this, which is an issue you'd have to be inventive to get around. But it's not like there isn't a game that has avoided needing multiple language cards completely. The second thought is that the TCG, in terms of what Spin Master could achieve, was ill-conceived as a whole. The TCG is hurt by being released as a toy and by a company more focused on toys. The product, timing and support expected of them simply isn't there. Regardless of what anyone thinks, financing toys and cards is not cheap, especially when the cards have the randomization issues Bakugan does. Having a game closer to the original with less components and those components largely being contained to the toys could have avoided this. A design like what we have, but much smaller in scale. A half step between Battle Brawlers and Battle Planet. Something better suited to being a toy and being released as a toy. It's not a popular opinion, but the TCG was an ambitious mistake and something more conservative would have been far better for everyone involved. I think it also needs to be addressed that these products are not terribly profitable for game stores and have the potential to leave them saddled with a ton of unsold product. I think this is why the LGS support isn't happening, because it's simply not feasible for them financially. It's too much of a risk. Besides that, it doesn't take too much effort to research and find out that Spin Master has been a known liability in the past. Redakai is a shadow over their head of which they have not learned from. The Bakugan Armored Alliance event did nothing to help anything. It made things worse. None of our concerns are being adequately addressed or really even at all. All the event did was tell people who are frustrated and have been consuming all year on empty promises to consume more. No promises are amounting to anything. Given what went down on Discord, I think it's getting to breaking point now. The toys are going to be fine. Kids like those. TCG, I'm not confident. Part of me sees the divorce caused by Pro as a way to give up on the TCG if it doesn't start performing better. Out of sight, out of mind. Kids won't notice the failure. If this isn't the case, it's just more of Spin Master's incompetence showing. This has been Some Gamer Dude, and thanks for watching.